Good morning, this is Shelby Law with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Monday, September 14th, 2020. Fire potential impacts for the next few days are shown here with mostly just some wind we're highlighting in the short term today, Monday, with gusts over Idaho, Wyoming, and up through central Nevada. Tomorrow the winds continue over central and eastern Idaho, with some winds picking up over far western Nevada. And then on Wednesday, they die down across the north, but we'll see winds continue across far western Nevada, and then we get even windier on Thursday into Friday. Very low relative humidities also accompany these winds for the next few days with warmer than average temperatures across the area. The smoke forecast for today is shown here for this morning on the left and this afternoon on the right. This is the near surface values. So we can see there's quite a bit of smoke in place pretty much everywhere across the west as it rotates around the high. But we do have some clearer air spots over eastern Nevada and over much of central and southern Utah. That holds out for this afternoon with just a little bit of clearing across eastern Idaho. And the upper air images for the smoke are shown here. Still quite a bit of smoke at the upper elevations over far western Nevada and up into western Idaho and even eastern Idaho. And that continues into the afternoon hours. Past 24 hours, our weather show no precipitation and no lightning. It's been sunny with warm temperatures. Fire activity has remained steady and even picked up in some areas. Large fire activity on the Payette National Forest and another large fire popping up over the southern Idaho here, and still seeing some fire activity on large fires over Utah. This warm, dry air mass will continue over the next couple of days, and with the winds across the north, there's not much relief in the short term anyway for any of these large fires. The soonest we'll get something in here is probably Friday. Precipitation for the past 14 days, shown here, really just highlighting the precip we had last week over eastern portions of the geographic area. Very dry still over the west. ERCs remain very high for the time of year, definitely setting records in some areas, and we do have quite a few stations that are above that 97th percentile in Nevada and up into western Idaho. A closer look at the Payette shows those values quite a bit above normal for the time of year. The increase over the past couple of weeks has been quite remarkable with the warm and dry air mass that's moved in. Values aren't quite up to the historical maximums, but working their way there. Over far western Nevada, those values are also above normal and just knocking on the door of those historical records. 100-hour fuel moistures are shown here. We can see the driest spots over Nevada, southwest Idaho, and far western Utah. Satellite imagery this morning is showing that area of low pressure off the Pacific Northwest coast. This is the low that's going to finally bring some precipitation into the Pacific Northwest and later into the Great Basin for this weekend. But for now, we still have the high pressure dominating the Great Basin with warm and dry conditions over the area. We do, as out ahead of this low, we are seeing some winds pick up associated with this trough, and that's why we're seeing the winds pick up today over Idaho and portions of Nevada. So for this afternoon, with the ridge dominating the weather pattern over the Great Basin and that trough off to the northwest, we do have an increase in wind speeds and have issued high risk for some areas. A little bit of a patchwork here, as some areas will be windier than others. We're looking for winds over the central Idaho mountains, western Wyoming, and this area across eastern Nevada and far western Nevada for today. Again, looking closer at the winds, we can see where those winds are highlighted. Strongest winds will be over in Oregon, but we do see some gustier winds over Nevada and Idaho as well. Minimum relative humidities remain quite low, especially for the time of year, minimums in the low single digits over Nevada. On Tuesday, the trough backs off just a little bit, so the wind speeds actually lighten up. So we don't have any high risk issued for Tuesday, just continued warm and dry. So generally light winds on Tuesday with continued low relative humidity. On Wednesday, that trough begins to strengthen and begin to move inland, so it's not quite moving inland just yet, but another day of generally light winds and warm and dry conditions over the Great Basin, waiting for this guy to move in. So So generally light winds, picking up just a little bit over far western Nevada. You can see over northern California there as well. And minimum relative humidities continue to be quite dry, although they may come up just a tiny little bit on Wednesday. No precipitation expected in the near term, the next 3 days, but we'll start to see a very small amount move into the far western coast of Oregon and Washington. Thursday, things begin to change as that low moves inland. We'll see wind speeds pick up quite a bit over especially Nevada on Thursday. Definitely high risk here and looking for stronger wind speeds than what we're experiencing today. Gusts up to 40, 45 miles an hour possible by Thursday. And that trough moves inland, bringing some precipitation to the northwest. And then by Friday, the trough, that low, moves eastward and will actually bring some precipitation and cooler temperatures to portions of the geographic area on Friday. So we're mainly looking at Idaho and then into possibly Utah, northeast Nevada, but some winds and still a dry pattern over far western Nevada and the southern tip of Nevada for Friday. And then by Saturday, that low quickly scoots off to the north and east, leaving us with cooler weather, but still dry air moving back in. And then the ridge looks like it begins to build back in by Sunday. So although we will see some precipitation in the next 7 days, mainly over central Idaho and then northeast Nevada and northern Utah, it will be a fairly quick shot with a return to warm and dry conditions afterward, especially if we look at the extended forecast, the 21st to the 27th. Very warm temperatures returning to the entire western U.S. and central U.S. With a bullseye over Utah here, and continued dry conditions mainly over the northern Rockies, but still dry over Idaho, northern Nevada, and northern Utah. So we're still waiting for those good fall storms to come in here. Still looks like fire season's continuing. This concludes today's fire potential briefing. Please check back tomorrow for the latest updates.